Hello folks and welcome to another video. I hope this one does find you in good health. But if you are struggling with your health at the moment, you have my sympathies. You're not alone. Although it does feel quite lonely sometimes when you're not feeling well, right? I'll tell you, the bloody old mate, the Grim Reaper, he's been making house calls around my way lately. A few people dropping off the perch, and oh look, he paid me a visit as well. Quiet word. The Reaper, or G as I call him. You know, we're on personal basis. G and I, we've met a few times over the years. He's come to collect me, mostly during my flying training. He never seemed to be far away, but I always managed to sort of distract him, and he went to collect someone else instead. But yeah, he came for a quiet word recently, and I said, "Look, G, still not quite ready to go, mate. I've got a family, you know, I've got animals to look after, and most importantly of all, I've got flight simulation videos to make. You know, got to give people an opportunity to press that dislike button on YouTube. That's really important to some people. It seems to be." And none more so in the last video I posted. The most disliked video on my channel was the last one before this one, which was a 747-400. Now, we didn't go flying, never left the ramp. The purpose of the video was just to alert the community to the existence of a mod. I think it was like a 6-minute video. The most disliked video in 12 years here on the channel. 400 and something videos. That one was the most disliked. It doesn't surprise me that people dislike my videos because I'm pretty used to that. It does surprise me a little bit that that was the most disliked one, because I've made some absolute shit over the years. Long-term viewers of the channel will know that. But regardless, we push on, folks. Likes, dislikes, subscribes. What's the opposite of subscribe? Unsubscribe? Regardless, I make the videos I want to make when I can make them, and today is no exception, folks. So we're in X-Plane again, and really enjoying X-Plane at the moment. Probably it's reverted back to being my primary sim, and that's been happening for a little while actually. I've been flying. I've never stopped flying in X-Plane, but it probably represents, I would think, more than half now of my simming. When I do have the opportunity to sim, more often than not, it's here in X-Plane. And we're flying this gorgeous beast, which is the Lancair Legacy RG. This is Erebusque's version of same. Beautiful looking aeroplane, great performance, just bloody good fun. The most fun you can have with your pants on, folks. And, well, if you're choosing to fly this bird with your pants off, then well, more luck to you, you weirdo. But generally, most simulation, including most of my simulation, takes place with pants on. Not always, but most of it does. Where was I? Removing my pants. Oh, good thing I don't have a webcam, folks. What was I saying? So yeah, we're going to fly this aeroplane as I reverse the shot. I like that angle. That's beautiful, isn't it? Nice picture. Breathless. I'm just noticing the livery. Chosen at random, or semi-random, but breathless. Very apt. How I've been feeling lately, and probably quite apt for how my viewing audience feels sometimes. As I make final approaches, my improvised approaches here on the channel. As I was saying, we're going to fly the Lancair Legacy. The aircraft is not actually the feature of the video, folks. This is a Freeware Friday episode. Regardless of when it actually gets published on YouTube, it might be a Wednesday. Who cares? If that upsets you, you're hanging on too tight. Seriously, get some perspective. It's a public service announcement there. But Freeware Friday is kind of a series I have on the channel where I feature freeware stuff. Normally aircraft, but today's a little bit different. I'm going to feature freeware scenery today. A couple of aspects of freeware scenery for X-Plane. Um, Let me fire up an application which will help me explain this a little bit more. What I didn't realize is that I'd have to quit X-Plane in order to show you this application. This application that you see on the screen is called xOrganiser. It's been around for a while. I remember using a freeware version of it back in X-Plane 11. Served me well. It's one of these configuration apps where you can switch stuff on and off. Really customize what loads into your sim for each session. You can set up presets and all that sort of stuff. Those of you that fly in the Microsoft Sim will be familiar with these type of um, tools, right? I'm forgetting the name of what the tool is. The main tool over there in the Microsoft world, but there's a few of them. This is not freeware, okay? So it's really important. This is a Freeware Friday episode. Not everything you're going to see is freeware, folks. So I'm call out what is free and what is not. The application on your screen, xOrganiser, available on the xplane.org store. I think it's about 15 bucks US, which is about 75 Aussie. Well, not quite, but not too far off. Um, so it's not expensive. It's a nice utility. This is not a tutorial on it. I just want to use it because it kind of demonstrates what I'm trying to show you in this video. Basically, what I've got. Let me step back a little bit. It's well known that X-Plane scenery is not its strength, right? And to improve its scenery, there's a few different things you can do. You can buy payware packs, scenery packs like the Orbex True Earth stuff. Or more commonly, I think these days, people are using orthophoto scenery. Now you can either generate your own or you can use the new streaming ortho tools like Auto Ortho and what's that other one? Map enhancement or whatever it's called. Or you can download ortho scenery that's being prepared or handcrafted is the word I see around. Handcrafted ortho scenery prepared by others, which is exactly what you're going to see in this video. And there is a guy who goes by the name of Lyndiman. Lyndiman. He has a website. There'll be a link to everything that I mentioned, folks. All right, so look in the description, links to everything. He has created handcrafted ortho for the entire country of New Zealand, including the Chatham Islands, which is out here. Not shown here on the map, though. He's created ortho scenery covering the entire country of New Zealand. And he's just updated it in recent months. He did this for X-Plane 11 a few years ago, and I made use of it and filled my hard drive with it. And he's updated it for X-Plane 12 in, I think, January of this year. So it's now March as I film this, March 2025. So yeah, and he's recut his scenery and it's handcrafted. It's really good stuff, really good stuff. And I've just spent my PC has spent the last couple of days downloading it all because it's huge. By my reckoning, about 300 gig worth of stuff, right? So you've got to accept that. Ortho takes up a lot of space, right? And this recent download took up 300 gig, right? So I've downloaded the entire country. It took a while because it's a torrent thing and 300 gig takes a long time to come down the pipe here in the old man's house. But it has just completed. And what I've done is I'm using xOrganiser to just show a couple of tiles. So each of these rectangles here is a tile in X-Plane. You're probably familiar with that. And what I've basically done is use xOrganiser to just show two tiles of ortho. So the two tiles of the Lyndiman Ortho, all right, is what you're going to see. So we're going to fly from Tauranga, which is up here in North Island, down to a place called Hastings in Hawke's Bay. Beautiful part of the world. It's probably featured in videos here on the channel before. So I'm just using, I don't want to load the whole country of New Zealand. I don't need all of that. I just need these two tiles. And I've left a tile in the middle to show you the difference between default X-Plane scenery and Lyndiman Ortho, just for your information. In case you're thinking, oh, I've seen that Lyndiman stuff, but I'm not sure that I want to invest the time to download it all. Remember, you don't have to download 300 gig unless you want the whole country. I fly in New Zealand a lot. I'll make use of the whole country. But you don't need to. It comes in different packages. And what you can actually see those packages here on the right hand side. So it's sort of divided up into the regions of New Zealand. So East Cape is where we are, and I've basically just said just show me that tile and that tile. And I've also got custom freeware airports, and these are provided by a guy that I've featured on the channel before, or I've at least shown you or guided you towards his YouTube channel. He's spent years developing custom freeware airports all over New Zealand, just a whole bunch of them. I've got a fair few of them downloaded, and today you're going to see Tauranga and Hastings. So again, I've downloaded a whole lot of his stuff. You can see that there on the right. That's all of Mr. DazaXIII. That's his tag. And I'm just going to feature Hastings and Tauranga. All right. So that's, sorry if that's a kind of a long introduction, but I just wanted to kind of give some context here, right? Freeware Ortho, handcrafted Ortho, which you can download. Freeware airports, which you can download. There'll be links to all of it in the description, folks. We're going to be flying the Lancer Legacy, which is payware, okay? And the application that you're looking at on your screen right now is called xOrganiser, which is also payware. But the focus here is the scenery. So we are in the sim. We've got power coming into the aircraft. We are going to go flying, all right? After the last video, I feel like I need to actually state that. We are going flying today, folks. There's a bit of setup required to this particular video. That's why I'm investing some time up front. Then we'll go flying. Okay? Trust me. This is, what you're looking at here, is Lyndiman's website. This is where you get the New Zealand Ortho from. As I said earlier, he's divided into regions. You don't need to download the whole country, just the region that you're interested in. But if you do download the whole country, by my estimate, there's about 300 odd gig. All right. Now, that took literally days to come down for me. I don't have the fastest internet connection in the world. He's provided some really clear download instructions. You'll need to install a torrent client. So all this happens via torrent. Qubit torrent, which is the one I use, works fine. Don't ask me to explain exactly how it works. All right. But it works. When you click this link here, Google Drive, you're not actually downloading the Ortho here. You're downloading the torrent file, which then downloads the Ortho files. Right. So there's kind of like a two-stage, well, almost a three-stage process, really. First of all, you're downloading the torrent, launching it in the client, then it downloads the ortho photo, and then you've got to extract that and place it in your X-Plane directory, custom scenery, or some people like to do that sort of mapping. They've got the ortho actually existing on a separate drive, but they do a little trick to make it X-Plane think that it is within its own structure, or you know what I mean. So yeah, that's what you get. You also need the overlays. Those of you familiar with ortho will not understand how that all works. The overlays go on top of the ortho photo, etc. So yeah, they're the ortho links. You click that, bang, downloads, and away you go. And you know, depending on the internet connection, it's going to take a while. All right, just be prepared. Go and make yourself a cup of tea, folks. Heck, go and make yourself a pot. Actually, a few pots. You might want to avail yourself of the other pot as well, if you know what I mean. It takes a while. All right, just chill, relax. Yeah, so that's Lyndiman's. Now, I'll also take this opportunity to show you where you can get the custom freeware airports that I was mentioning earlier by DazaXIII. Right now, he says he's kind of retired. I'm going to largely retire from scenery making. Some of the stuff was updated, I think, in 23. Yeah, 2023 was the last update. It's good stuff. I loved it in X-Plane 11. I've got a whole bunch of it here for X-Plane 12. You need a whole bunch of libraries, and he kind of explains that. Now, his his website, all the files are listed over here on mega.nz. There's got a, let me show you this actually. Let's do a preview. Getting stuff to work. I love people who keep the titles nice and clear. It's clear what this does, getting stuff to work. So he talks about where to get the stuff, and all these libraries that you're going to need. Now that takes a while, but he's very kindly given you links to all of it, right? Which I'm very grateful for. So yeah, that's his stuff. X-Plane 12, and then you go to airports, and he's got all of his airports. Look at them all. Bush strips, the main airports of Anzad. Just fantastic. I've only got a fraction of them here in X-Plane 12. I had a lot of them in X-Plane 11. Anyway, links to all of it in the description, folks. Just wanted to show you that before we go flying. And with that out of the way, let's go flying. Alrighty, lined up runway 07 here at Tauranga. I think we're good to go. Flaps, trims, lights, all of that good stuff. Leave the flight director off. We've got 7.5 plugged in. That'll give us, I think that 7.5 will give us nice visibility of the ortho, like the definition wise. I think we're good to go. Parking brake, bring that in. Right tank, got plenty of juicy. Let's do it. Introduce the juicy. Sounds good, this aeroplane. A little bit of right boot, fella. More juicy. There's some juicy. Oh, it's got some power in it. 50 knots. 60, 70, 80. She wants to go about here. There you go. Gently does it. Positive rate and all that. Got a right boot. Tracking the center line. Now what I'll do is I'll actually pause just as we kind of turn onto track here. We get the flaps coming up. Let's bring the prop back in. So what I might do here is just pause. So there. And I'll jump outside. Not quite the view I wanted. Probably that view is what I want. Right. Now what I actually want to show here, if I sort of zoom, no, that's not quite right either. Let me try something else, folks. I'll get this worked out eventually. I want to show you the ortho here around Tauranga. There's a golf course. Now the X-Plane default scenery won't show a golf course there. It'll just show a green paddock. There's another one out there. Let me kind of zoom around. Just be patient with me here, folks, as I work out how to get this camera sort of positioned in a way that gives us a nice view. There we go. There's the, come back here, zoom out. I'm going to use all my fingers here. Maybe this one. There we go. So that's what the ortho looks like overhead Tauranga. There you go, looking down towards Bay Beach, sort of Auckland. A long way in the distance, Auckland. And then sort of down this way, we're looking towards Whakatane. And then out towards Rotorua, and in the distance, Hastings, which will be our destination. Yeah. I just thought I'd just pause there and just have a squiz. That's that's the sort of definition that you're getting. Jumping back inside now, we'll continue the flight. So we'll turn kind of onto track. Out towards Hastings. Just got a direct track today. And what we'll do in a few minutes' time as we get sort of closer towards Rotorua is we'll be able to see the difference in the tiles, the difference in the definition between the ortho and the default X-Plane ground textures. Alright, so I've just paused the sim, which will allow me a bit of time to show you or explain to you what's happening here on the screen. So we're a few miles. That's Rotorua, Lake Rotorua there. There's the airport, the city itself. Shout out to if you happen to hail from Rotorua. Now what you can see here is the difference between the ortho, which is on the left-hand side of the screen, and the default X-Plane scenery. So you can see where the cut is, right? Down that line. It's quite a significant difference. And in a place like New Zealand, it's really noticeable. You get a lot more definition. So we're cruising here at about 7,500 feet. So this is what you're sort of the definition that you're seeing. Like big difference in the color, right? That's a very dull green, greeny brown sort of thing. This is a much more vibrant, brighter green. And what you're also getting with the Lyndiman Ortho is a mesh which I think is about 8 meters or something like that. So it's pretty tightly defined. You know, you can see a lot of the nooks and crannies right here, whereas this really looks quite flat. This one's got a lot more definition. So I just wanted to pause there and just give you an example of what the difference is. I personally don't mind the generic explain scenery, but when you've got an option for handcrafted ortho, and then you take a moment like this and you see the difference, you kind of, lean towards the handcrafted, I think. So yeah, the next sort of most of the flight here, maybe 60 or 70% of the flight takes place over this generic or default, I should say, explained scenery. So I won't show that. The next time you will hear my dulcet tones, we will be on approach into Hastings. All right, concluding stages, folks. About 4 miles to touchdown. Runway 19 is our runway. Better sort of slow down quite well. Slightly low on profile, if anything. Runway inside from here, if you squint hard, folks. Through the spinning prop, 120 knots. We'll take gear at about 3 miles. Let's just get up there. Alrighty. Slightly offset on our final here, but we'll correct that by the time we hit the deck. Stage of flap. It's a slippery beast, this one. Great aircraft, the Aerobasque Legacy. Some of you may remember that over there in the FSX P3D world we had the Real Air Legacy, which was probably one of my favourite aircraft of all time. I think they call that the GOAT, the cool kids call it the GOAT aircraft. It's up there for me. It's up there as the dogs decide that they need to be heard, getting a little bit nervous. And who can blame them? We'll take a full flap at this point. There we go. And final checks as always, folks. Our flaps are set, our gear is down, and fingers crossed. And our sphincter is as tight as we can get it. Oh, she's nervous, the dog. Runway 19 Hastings, folks. Yeah, the ortho scenery loses a bit of its peel down low, that's for sure. 95 odd knots, happy with that at this point. No wind to worry about. Try and make it a decent one. A narrow strip here at Hastings. Oh, a little firm for my liking, but that's okay. Even on the centre line, fella, that is a narrow strip, isn't it? Anyway, folks, welcome to Hastings, New Zealand. And thank you for your company in another video, folks. Your support is very much appreciated. I hope this has been a educational, informative, maybe even entertaining video for you, looking at the beautiful Lyndiman Ortho for this part of the world. We thank Mr. Lyndiman for his work back in X-Plane 11 and now in X-Plane 12, and of course also to Daza for his work on the custom freeware scenery as I make my way towards these sheds yonder. Folks, thank you for your support, and until we next meet, you stay well, enjoy your simming.